Hi, Suzanne. It's good to talk to you again. And you're going to give us a recap of your Halloween tour and tell us about your upcoming parades for Christmas.
Well, since this year's the 125th anniversary of the Dracula novel by Bram Stoker, I was in 5 Halloween parades plus a stage show.
Well, so why don't you tell us about it? What did you win? Where? That kind of stuff.
Well, the first one was in Sea Isle City. Now, I don't think they award trophies anymore. This is the second time I've been there after some lengthy hiatus. I won. All the prizes were medals, like the pendant type, like you see in the Olympics.
Right.
I got it for Grand Champion Adult Walker.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. Any award is good, I guess.
In Williamstown, I was entered under the costume category, but then they announced 3 costume winners, and they didn't list me. I listened to all the winners, and it turned out I had won nothing. But then the MC said, we have a special recognition plaque for Suzanne Muldowney for many years of participation.
Oh, well, that's good. How many years have you been there?
I don't know how many times altogether I've been in Williamstown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I started. I don't think I started going to it until at least a year after the turn of the millennium.
Okay, but it's probably about 20 years then.
Yeah. Well, the next one was Cape May. It was cloudy that day. We were all afraid it was going to rain. All the participants got registered and were judged, but then the chief of police came by and said the parade was called off. That is the processional part of it, because by now it was raining cats and dogs.
Mm-hmm. So
I had to start back right away.
Okay, so what did you do there? Just show up in front of the judges?
I beg your pardon?
Did you do anything?
Well, we had to line up in certain areas because we were all divided into age groups.
Mm-hmm.
And the judges walked by to take notes on all of us.
Okay, so what did you end up winning there?
Well, I'm coming to that. See, I had to start home right away. They didn't award. I wasn't sure they were going to award any prizes. But then the next day when I got home from work, there was a message for me saying that I had placed 3rd in the age group 18 or older because we had been registered and judged.
Well, it's still good. I mean, you're winning a lot of stuff.
And then in Middle Township, I was a sensation.
Oh yeah, what happened there?
Well, see, I figured out a routine so that I showed both sides of Dracula. When I started on the parade route, I was Prince Vlad, but then when I got to the grandstand, I was Vlad a few minutes longer, and then I knelt and removed several garments so that when I stood up again, I was Stoker's Count.
Oh wow, okay. How did you manage that?
I managed. I had gone over it in my mind many times. Little Township. I hadn't won anything the previous year. I was afraid it would be the same way again. So as soon as I got to the end of the route, I went over to where David was parked, and he drove me back. I was in a hotel then. And then the next night was the last parade. That was Ocean City. And on Friday, October 28th, I had a stage show in Atlantic City at a place called the Tennessee Avenue Beer Bar.
And so how'd that go? That was a live show.
Yes, that was a live show. I danced the Dracula archives, and then there was an accordion player, and then I finished by doing the Dracula fashion show. Now, the enclosure normally accommodates 80 to 100 people, but there were only about 24 attendees.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's. I think that was the night of the playoff game, right?
Yeah. Then at Atlantic City, Scott Cronick got the room at Caesars. So that was one night I spent in Atlantic City at Caesars. The next day I went home, and then there were phone messages from both Cape May and Middle Township saying I had won awards. Now the question was, how was I going to get hold of them? Cape May did not say where the prizes were being held, and Middle Townships was at town headquarters. So I had to go to. So on Halloween, I went to Convention Hall, Cape May's Convention Hall, to get my Cape May trophy. I was staying at the Grand Hotel on the nights of the 30th and the 31st. And my accommodations were remarkable. And then, then on November 1st, when I was supposed to come back home, someone from Middle Township came over to my hotel with the prize. It turned out I had won 2 trophies. That's the first time I ever won more than one prize at the same event. Mm-hmm. I had placed 3rd for single or family, and first for my costume.
Well, that's awesome, Suzanne. That's very good.
All in the name of Dracula.
So you think Vlad Tepes is looking down?
I don't know about he, but I don't know about him, but I hope Radu and Raymond are.
Oh, that would be. Can you imagine if they're all together? Bram Stoker, Vlad Tepes, Radu Floresk, and they're watching you. Wouldn't that be something?
I doubt that Dracula would be looking down from above. Most likely, because he was such a bloodletter, I'm sure he ended up in Hades.
Oh, okay. So you don't think by now he was he's still stuck down there?
What?
He's still stuck down there after all the centuries? He didn't redeem himself?
There's no way he could.
Oh, because it's a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
Well, I see. Okay, well then in that case you have the audience from the top and the bottom.
Hmm?
In that case you have the audience from the top and the bottom.
Well, one remarkable thing about the spectators I did have, if any of them knew better that I was supposed to be Dracula, they didn't chase me with the makeshift crosses or stakes.
No, garlic.
I don't think very many of them would have thought of that. Besides, if they had it, the odor would have polluted them and other spectators around them.
Hmm. Well, that sounds like you had a good run. A lot of awards, appearances, and good Halloween.
Yeah, I don't expect to be doing Dracula again before this year is over.
Mm-hmm. So what are you doing for Christmas?
Well, for 2 parades that are during Thanksgiving weekend, I'm doing Underdog.
Mm-hmm. And that's a Christmas parade, but it's in Thanksgiving.
For 4 other Christmas parades, I'm doing this fictional character for which I'm making a new costume, Suzy Snowflake.
Mm. Okay. So why don't you tell us the days and times and all that, towns?
I beg your pardon?
Why don't you tell us the days, times, towns where you're going to be so people can come see you?
On Saturday, November 26th, that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, at 11 a.m., I'll be in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
For that, I'm doing Underdog. On Sunday, the 27th, I'll be in Bridgeton, New Jersey.
All right, and that's South Jersey too, right?
In the afternoon.
All right, so that's. But do you know the time, or just the afternoon?
I haven't had a time confirmed yet by the committee in charge.
Oh, okay, but people can go on the town's website, Bridgeton, and see when the Christmas parade is.
Yeah.
Okay, what else are you doing?
On Friday, December 2nd, at 6:30 p.m., I'll be in Wildwood's Christmas parade, and that's where I debut Suzy Snowflake.
Okay, and do you want to describe Suzy Snowflake for the listeners?
Well, I didn't invent her. She dates back to the 50s. There was a song made up, Suzy Snowflake. It was popularized by singer Rosemary Clooney in the 50s.
I see. That's George Clooney's mom.
My costume consists of a short white dress. I think it's short because I'm supposed to be a snowflake. And it's all decorated with pearls and white sequins. It's short like a cheerleader's or a skater's dress. And I hope to make a mini cape to go with it to keep it warm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for the winter, the short dress, it's not probably the most appropriate.
Well, I'd have thermal undies underneath, but they can't show under the dress.
Right.
Saturday, December 3rd at 5 p.m. I'm supposed to be at Cape May's parade. I still haven't gotten my application yet. I'm going to have to call them tomorrow.
Yeah, you don't want to run out of time. It's coming up.
And then on December 4th, that's Sunday, I'll be in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, okay. And that's the last Christmas parade?
No, there's still one other on Saturday, December 10th. That's the Lower Township.
Oh, okay, back in Jersey.
Yeah. Now, what I don't know yet is whether Atlantic City will have a Christmas parade. If they do, they did have one several years ago, but it was very miserable weather. It was sleeting, and it was held in the daytime so that it wouldn't clash with the Lower Townships, which is 6th.
Yeah, well, they try to stagger them around, I guess. There's too many of them at the same time. Okay, doing, how many underdogs or how many Suzys?
2 as underdog and 4 or 5 as Suzy Snowflake.
Oh, okay. All right, well, it's a busy schedule, Halloween and Christmas parades. You don't do any Thanksgiving parades this year?
I've never been in a parade on Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
can you still count parades that happen during Thanksgiving weekend as Thanksgiving parades, although they're called Christmas parades?
Well, I mean, I guess we should call it Christmas parade. But you used to do a New Rochelle Thanksgiving parade, right? Years ago?
I was in it for a number of years. Then they suddenly decided they didn't want me anymore. Besides, they changed their date pattern from the Saturday before Thanksgiving to Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And I never could have coped with all that traffic.
Yeah, that's not the most convenient for people out of town. And there was no other Thanksgiving parades they did? Was that the only one?
Well, I don't know if they still have it. In Hatboro, Pennsylvania, there was one the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I was in it for a number of years, but then they changed their route. Where we started, now we finished, and vice versa. And where they finished now was out in the middle of nowhere.
So
how could I have gotten a cab to get back to the train station?
Yeah, so that's that convenient.
I stopped being in it because that was one of the worst sites for Howard Stern related heckling.
And what town is that?
Hatboro, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so I guess they used to have a lot of. I bet you that's no longer the case. But if it's not convenient
No,
for you,
it's been 30 years since I was on Howard's corrupt TV show, and still people won't let me off the hook.
yeah. Well, that's the older fans. I don't think anyone listens to that show nowadays.
Well, he hasn't been on television in years. He's stuck to radio.
Yeah, but I mean, I believe the audience today is much smaller. I don't know anybody who listens to that show anymore. So I think you won, Suzanne.
I wouldn't say that because when I was in the Halloween parade, there were still some spectators yelling "Baba Booey" and 3 cheers for Howard Stern. they were continuing to bug me.
Right, but I can.
After 30 years.
I bet you have more fans than he does now. So I bet you that you have more fans than Howard Stern does now. So now what you should do is tell your fans when they see him on the street to yell "Underdog."
Some people in Ocean City, some people still yelled "Underdog," even though they could see right before their eyes that I was dressed differently.
Right. Yeah, but that's your most famous character, so people do associate you with that character.
Well, I'll be going big with him in another 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a big anniversary.
It's the 60th anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Now, when does Underdog get to collect Social Security?
As a fictional character, he's not entitled to it.
Ah, that's too bad. You think we would take care of our superheroes, but no, because he's getting older now. He can't be flying around.
Well, Superman came out 25 years earlier than Underdog, and he's still flying around. There was no comic book or TV episode made up about his filing for Social Security.
Yeah, well, he probably did it in secret. He doesn't want to ruin his image.
I didn't understand that.
I see he's hiding the fact that he's collecting Social Security because it would ruin his superhero image. All right, Suzanne. Well, thank you for the update. That's very good news. You won a bunch of stuff. You had a good time. And then you have a bunch more coming up. So if people want to hear it, I will post this. I'll put the dates in the towns. And if anyone gets a chance to be in South Jersey or Maryland or what else are you doing? Virginia or no?
No, Falls Church, Virginia is not till Memorial Day.
Oh, okay. So just Baltimore and South Jersey.
Uh-huh.
So if anyone is in the southern part of the state, then they can come check you out. And I'm sure soon enough we'll do another show. So you're probably getting ready for a TV show. Something coming up at 6:00.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you watching at 6?
One cable TV station called Decades runs what they call a binge every weekend from noon Saturday until 6 a.m. the following Monday. They rerun episodes of a particular show. They choose a different one each weekend. This weekend, it's The Fugitive.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good show. The classic.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like about The Fugitive?
I guess Richard Kimball's instincts for survival when he has to go on the run from place to place to avoid being captured.
Okay. Well, it's a good enough reason to like the show. It was a good show. All right, Suzanne. Well, thank you very much for the update. Enjoy The Fugitive, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, Boris. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye-bye, Suzanne.
Bye-bye.